Well guys, I got a big batch of knives heat treated this morning. Just got them in the even heat for their first temper cycle. And I think what I'm gonna do is start grinding a batch of these Trekker H's. I just got these all surface ground and they're ready for bevels. They're heat treated and yeah, ready for bevels. So I think that's what I'm gonna do right now. It's super hot in the shop. It's 89 degrees in here right now. Kind of ready for it to start cooling down a little bit. But for today's video, I'm gonna probably show you my process for getting this batch of 6 knives ready for stone washing and handles. Yeah, maybe you'll learn something, maybe you won't, but I'm gonna at least show you my workflow for the day. All right, so here we are over at the grinder. Like I said, 36 grit belt on here right now. This is a relatively new one. And what I'm gonna do is pretty much hog a lot of material off of this before I go to a higher grip belt. I'm gonna go probably 36 and then to a 60 and then a 120 and probably a 240 as well. Kind of see how it's looking. But with that 36, I'm really just hogging off the material, getting my edge thickness down pretty close to where I want it. And then with those finer grits, I'm slowly kind of evening out the bevel, cleaning everything up, and you'll kind of see what this grind looks like when I'm done. I go ahead and use one of these little plunge guides or file guides, whatever you want to call them, just to keep that super even and clean right at your plunge, and then everything else is done freehand. So I'm going to keep the camera going, show you kind of my grip progression and stuff like that, get these all knocked out. I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but I'll show you kind of the first one, how I do it, and then, yeah, see how it goes from there. All right, so you guys know I'm like a preacher for use new belts. And when I'm using like the first couple grits, like the 36 and the 60s, it's not as important because they really are aggressive, and that abrasive just works and lasts longer. But once you work up into the 120 and higher grit, that's when really, really fresh, crispy new belts is very, very important. So as you can see, well, this one isn't very even yet. I even it up on the 120, but you can see this line right here. Well, kind of. And that's what you're gonna start crisping up. Like you can see the runoff a little bit here. Well, dang it, maybe not, but that's what I'm gonna start crisping up with that 120. And I'm gonna bring it up a lot higher as well. But I've got my edge thickness to about 25 thousandths probably. It's a little thinner there on the belly, so I gotta add a little more pressure along right here, get that edge thinned down a little bit, but I like to do those real minor adjustments with that little finer grip belt. Do your really aggressive adjustments and bring your bevel up to about where you want it with those higher or coarser belts, and then do your fine adjustments with the finer grip belts. So I'm gonna throw a 120 on right now, a fresh brand new 120, and show you guys kind of what the end result of this grind is. All right, so I probably won't bore you with any more of me just standing here at the grinder, but you can see right now we're at the 120 grit belt and we're pretty even here. And you know, I don't know if you guys can kind of see what I'm doing or not, but what I like to do is when I approach the grinder, when I go up to those new grits, is I lightly approach the grinder and kind of feel where that bevel is at. So it's even. Don't horse right onto it, but kind of come up to it and feel where that bevel's at before you start moving. That's how you kind of can get it uneven if you're not really feeling that you're flat on that platen. So then I'm just making real smooth, even passes and constantly checking for my evenness. So we're really close right here. I'm gonna put on a 220 grit belt and just clean it up a little bit more. And then this one will be done and on to the next one. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with the rest of the grinding these, but I'll check back in once I've got them all done, hopefully. and kind of just go over a little bit about what's happening, but that kind of gives you a quick rundown on how I freehand grind all of these Trekker H models. The ones I'm working on right now, I've got 6 of them going. I think 5 of them are for orders, and then I added an extra one for either A, if I mess up one, or that I can just put for sale when I finish this big batch, because these all get sent out for laser engraving. So if I'm kind of doing them, I like to do them in batches so I don't have to do onesie twosies on those at the engraver. So there you go. I'll check back in a little bit and kind of show you guys where I'm at. All right, checking in. I got 3 done right now, and what I'm kind of seeing is this was the 3rd knife on that original 120 grit belt, and I could tell that it was starting to get a little dull. So I get about 3 knives done for one 120 grit belt. The 36 and 60s are still going strong. I'll probably be able to get all of them done with those. And then when I go up to that finer grit, I'm doing like really light, easy pass. I'm not even really changing anything. I'm just kind of refining that those grind lines. So that belt doesn't wear out super fast. I'll probably be able to get 6 out of my 220 as well. But that 120 grit belt is the one that I really make sure my grind is even on, and I really clean it up good with that, okay? So that's why I probably go through those a little bit faster. But all right, 3 done, 3 more to go. Well, guys, I'm not sure if you guys saw that or not, but I just slipped with this 120 grit belt. And what happened is I brought this spot right here up. Look at how high that spot is now with me slipping. So what I'm gonna have to do is leave this and try to get it evened up here, how the rest of these knives look. But that happens sometimes, and that's why, and I'll show you at the end, a lot of these bevel heights, they're not all exactly the same. And I don't do it on purpose. I guess if I was a machine or something, I'd have them all be the same. But all those little small variables is kind of what makes this fun and really makes these custom knives unique, is kind of how I look at it. But you can see that I need to now don't bring this up any higher, but bring this spot up higher and kind of try to keep it even. So how I'm gonna do that is feel that belt, don't put any pressure downward when I immediately touch it, and then slowly transfer this way as I work down right past that initial plunge. And that should even this part out, and hopefully I can salvage this one. All right, it's fixed. It looks good. I just had to bring it up a little bit higher on both sides, you can see, but she's looking good. All right, 4 down, 2 more to go, and we got that one with just a slightly higher bevel, looking good. And just like that, all 6 are done. They turned out pretty good. I'll give you a little close up here in a minute. Hopefully maybe you guys picked up a little tip or something from watching this. I didn't really have a goal in mind for this video. I just kind of wanted to show you my process. All the belts I'm using are Red Label abrasives. I get asked that a lot. I am sponsored by them, but I also have used like literally every other company's belts, and I prefer these over all of them. Plus they're made in Michigan, so that's pretty cool. But as far as how they wear and stuff like that, like I said, I got all 6 knives. It took 2 120 grit belts, and it actually has enough life in it for one more. The 36 grit belt is starting to get glazed up a little bit, and I actually ground a chef knife on it before these 6 knives, and I'd probably change it before I started on another one. And the 60 grit belt is still going strong through those 6 knives. It's still got a few more left in it. So that kind of answers that question. I'm grinding them on this KMG TX grinder, which I get asked about a lot. This thing's incredible. Really, really, really recommend that. I get asked a lot about what grinder I use and what one I would recommend, and I really like this TX because when you buy it, it comes fully assembled, ready to rock and roll. No assembly, no painting like some of these other grinders. I'm sure you guys have looked into them, and I really like it. So I'm going to show you a little close-up of these knives and see what you guys think. All right, so here's all 6 of them done. And you can see that they all have their little flaws and little differences, but they're pretty close. Now that they're all ground, probably tomorrow I am going to do the final finish on them, which what I like to do is clean them all up with steel wool really good, acetone them and acid etch them before stone washing them. That'll be tomorrow. These knives are still in temper and kind of tired. I think I'm going to take Walt to do some crayfishing tonight, as weird as that sounds. We went and did it the other night and we had a blast, and he's been asking me to go back to this little creek that's down the road from my house. So I think I'm going to call it good for today. Go hang out with Walt for the rest of the night, and hopefully you guys like this video. Make sure you drop a comment below, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you have anything you want me to cover in more detail that I haven't already covered in my past videos, please drop it in the comments below, and I'll for sure get to it as soon as I possibly can. Make sure you look at all my past videos because I've covered a lot of different things now. And like always, guys, thanks for watching.